on fast food and the other on alcohol. So one was, so the fast food study, we're looking at the distribution of fast food across the 5 boroughs. And so by that we're looking at, the big multinationals, McDonald's, Burger King, and so on, and then all the little local, Kansas Fried Chickens and Crown Fried Chickens and that kind of thing. And then also just little independent, random fast food that sell burgers and fried chicken, that kind of thing. So when you map it out, you basically end up with a map where fast food is really dense in commercial areas. So, shopping districts, tourist destinations, transportation hubs, central business districts. So like Times Square, Port Authority, Penn Station, Wall Street, Brooklyn's Borough Hall, that kind of thing. So we expect that, right? Fast food is going to be in those kind of areas. But then when you move outside the commercial area into the residential neighborhoods, the only places that begin to rival that kind of density is in predominantly Black and then in the Bronx, Latino neighborhoods. So we looked at the average exposure to fast food across those neighborhoods. And then the other point is that besides the fact that percent Black was by far the biggest predictor of fast food density, income really had no relationship. It's often posited that fast food, if you see fast food more in Black neighborhoods, it's probably because those are more lower income neighborhoods, and fast food is a product that's pitched towards low income households and so on. So if that's true, then you should see neighborhoods that are predominantly Black and predominantly white of comparable income, they should have the same exposure. And then predominantly Black neighborhoods that are high income should have less exposure than predominantly Black neighborhoods that are low income, right? And so neither of those were true in the city. So we found that if you break the city out into low, middle, and high income block groups, you find that percent Black is always positively related to fast food and percent white is always negatively related. Actually, at high income levels, there's no relationship, but for low and middle, percent Black, the more Black people there are, the more fast food there is, and the more white people there are, the less fast food there is. And then when we looked at within predominantly Black neighborhoods, the high income areas had just as much exposure as the low income areas. So it was very clear that that was about race and not about income. And then just on the alcohol, we didn't do a whole citywide examination, but we looked at alcohol advertising in central Harlem. And so there are plenty of studies in other cities that show the disproportionate amount of alcohol advertising between predominantly Black and predominantly white neighborhoods. So we didn't need to replicate it here. I mean, if you walk down the streets in New York, you can see the advertising is very different in different neighborhoods. But we looked at the prevalence and of ads in central Harlem, and then their proximity to areas where youth congregate, and then also the effect on behavior. So we found that, first of all, we mapped about 536 total ad spaces in central Harlem. And then of those, 135 were alcohol ads. So that's 25% of the ad spaces were alcohol. And of those, about 73% were beer. So it's overwhelmingly beer that's being advertised. Then we looked at, the proximity between alcohol ads and schools. So outdoor advertisers have this sort of self-regulatory kind of aspirational guideline that's not a law, but they purport to not advertise within 500 feet of schools, churches, and playgrounds. So we wanted to see if that was true in Harlem. It was not. So we found that if you look, so of the 135 alcohol ads in central Harlem, 44%, so almost half, were within 500 feet of a school. And then similar for churches, about 45%, and then 24% were within that distance of a playground.